countries, India is definitely positioned to meet its NDC goal way before the target year. Indian government is working very heavily over the circular economy, the voluntary carbon markets, in which India is one of the largest supplier of the carbon credits.
Welcome to this episode of Sustainability Karma, Season 3. I'm your host, Naina Gautam, and today we have with us Mr. Manish Dabkara. So, he's the chairman and managing director of EKI Energy Services Limited, a leading carbon credit developer and supplier across the globe. Welcome, Manish.
Yeah, thank you.
What do you expect from COP29 this year?
So COP29, basically, the full form is Conference of Parties Meeting number 29, which is going to happen there at Baku, Azerbaijan. And the expectations, since we come from the carbon markets, although in the Paris Agreement, there are various different articles which are pending to get full negotiations from all the parties, that means all the nations. But specifically for the stakeholders within our community, that means from the carbon markets, we are expecting 2-3 different guidelines or clear regulations that should come from the COP29. So first one is having clear guideline related to the Article 6.2 of the Paris Agreement, wherein any two nation can sign an MOU and can help each other, and further whatever the carbon credits or whatever the emission reductions that would be achieved by that specific partnership under the MOU, nations can distribute or can divide whatever the carbon credits that would be generated, and so this is how the two nations would be helping each other, and the transaction of the credits will do happen. Once the transaction will do happen, for example, within India, then more and more technologies, like 14 different technologies had been informed by Government of India, specifically Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, wherein the technologies like renewable energy with storage, clean cooking, green ammonia, green hydrogen, HVDC, high-end mobility solutions. So these are all some expectations wherein Government of India is expecting the technology and fund should come from the other developed nation or other nation, not specifically developed nation, but from the other developing or developed nation. And we will be getting the technology, money, jobs would be created, and finally, whatever the carbon credits that would be generated from the implementation of the project activity, like compressed biogas also. So India would take some certain percentage of the credits, and the investing country or company from out of India would be getting some credits. So this is related to the Article 6.2. Related to the Article 6.4, which is quite a big market that is going to happen, since many nations, many industrialized nations had declared that they wish to become net zero nation with the help of procuring carbon credits originated from the international domain or the other nations. So the clear guidelines, clear methodologies, registration guideline, verification guideline, transition of the carbon credits or the carbon credit projects from clean development mechanism, which was there during Article 12 of the Kyoto Protocol, to Article 6.4 of the Paris Agreement. So this is the clear guidelines. If it will do come, then it will do create a very, very big market, and India would do get benefited from sale of again the 14 technologies which had been informed under Article 6.2. The same had been informed under Article 6.4 also, and recently Government of India, being one of a very proactive nation, had informed all those 14 technologies to UNFCCC, United Nations Framework Convention. We can refer those specific 14 technology list within MOFCC website and within UNFCCC website also. Finally, the voluntary carbon markets, in which India is one of the largest supplier of the carbon credits. So under the Kyoto Protocol, from 2005 to 2020, India was the second largest supplier. Under the voluntary carbon markets, we are the first largest supplier for the renewable energy and energy efficiency projects. And definitely once 6.2, 6.4 guidelines will do come, voluntary carbon market, which is suffering from two serious concerns, that that is the quality of carbon credits and the greenwashing issue that had been done by a few of the buyers located in Western world. So our industry will do get benchmarked from 6.2 6.4 guidelines, and VCM will do then will gain high traction. As of now, VCM, voluntary carbon market, is having a market share of around 1 billion, less than $1 billion globally, but it is being anticipated that once these two concerns will do get resolved, then it should be in between 10 to $200 billion. And since India is one of the largest supplier for the credits in the VCM market, if we'll do get 50% of the market share, then almost $100 billion we can secure within the next 7 years. So these are all the three different expectations we do have from the carbon credit community.
So,
Yes.
how do you see the relationship between Article 6 of the Paris Agreement and the role of private sector in it?
Article 6 of the Paris Agreement, as we know, provides a framework that greatly incentivizes private sector engagement in the international carbon markets by allowing cross-border carbon trading under Article 6.2 or under Article 6.4 of the Paris Agreement. This opens the opportunities for the companies to invest into the specific projects. Like Government of India had come up with 14 different technologies. Other different nations like Sri Lanka or Malawi, Ghana, they also came up with various different technologies or the list of the interventions that they want that should happen within the country. So the private sector is very, very important to mobilize the funds, to create the projects, to support the nations to get the technology, fund, and also some part of the carbon credits that would be given to that specific nation under Article 6.2, although that would not happen in Article 6.4. So Article 6 with the private companies will do support cost-effective compliances to the high emitting nations like European Union or United States of America. It will do mobilize investments into the green projects, clean projects. It will do create more market credibility, for not only for the Article 6 of the Paris Agreement, but for the voluntary carbon markets, and support the ESG and SDG 17 SDG goals. So all these benefits you would be able to get with the involvement of private sector under Article 6 of the Paris Agreement. And definitely after this COP 29 next month, the four different layers of the carbon market. One is the international compliance carbon market, national compliance market, national voluntary market, and international voluntary market. With all these four markets, definitely would be able to achieve India's NDC goals.
So, what would be your prescription for establishing an effective carbon market in India?
Effective carbon market for the compliance mechanism. The first thing should be having clear targets. Like till date, government had not declared the list of obligated entities or the companies or the emitters, which will do come from the 9 different sectors within the first phase of compliance carbon market. So giving clear target, clear emission reduction target as soon as possible to these companies will do definitely help. Second thing is in coming few years, the deepening of the sector will do happen, addition of new sectors will do happen. So apart from the identified 9 different sectors, the upcoming deepening or addition of the new sectors which will do happen, so that those companies should know that in next 3 years or 5 years they will do again get into the compliance related to the emission reduction. So the clear target, clear auditing rules, clear the clarification related to the new addition or deepening of the sector. If these 2-3 things will do happen, then definitely the India's compliance market will do work very smoothly. Further, the administrators should, or the policymakers should think how we would be able to make a healthy carbon market, because once the carbon credits would be issued to the entities who are able to achieve their their emission reduction targets, then how would be able to sell? And those credits, the rate should be sufficiently economically beneficial for the sellers, so that whatever the investments that they have done, with the help of which they are able to gain the credits with the help of either implementation of renewable energy or energy efficiency or various different process optimization activity that they will do. So if the incentive from the emission reduction as compared to the benchmark would be very, very less, then they will definitely get demotivated. Further, this is in reference to the sellers. In reference to the buyers, if they would not be able to meet their specific emission reduction targets, then stringent guidelines should be there, that that the penalty should be applied to them, and they should comply with all the penalties within time, so that whatever the deficits are there in reference to the trading rates, for example, the sellers can get benefited. Further, the traders or speculators, which are very much required to create a very healthy carbon market. So not only allowing the trading of carbon credits over the power exchanges, only that specific thing should not be considered. Along with that, the addition of allowing the non-obligated entities or traders, brokers, investors, or speculators within the market definitely will do make the market a very healthy market. So these are all the recommendations that should be adopted by the policymakers or by the administrators, and definitely India's carbon market will do create high benchmark for other developing or developed nations to implement with.
So, how well positioned is India to meet its net zero target?
So India is doing various different activities earlier to this Paris Agreement, which is enforced from 1 January 2021. India had done various different activities like establishment of PO Obligation Act, Renewable Purchase Obligation Act, wherein obligated entities do have target to procure certain percentage of renewable energy. Second thing is the Perform, Achieve and Trade mechanism establishment. So that specific scheme do cover major big emitters within India, and specific consumption targets had been given in metric tons of oil equivalent. Now, afterwards, since India, under the Kyoto Protocol, was the second largest supplier, first largest supplier in the voluntary carbon market. So this had been these are the achievements which we have done till 2020. After 2020, Indian government had declared that we wish to become net zero nation, as you mentioned, by year 2070, and for that, various different activities are happening within India. First thing. And the most important thing is the amendment of Energy Conservation Act 2001 to Energy Conservation Act 2022 that had been passed during December 22. And under that new amendment, Indian government is going to establish two different markets. One is the compliance carbon market. One other one is the voluntary carbon market. So under the compliance market called as CCTS, Carbon Credit Trading Scheme, the specific emission targets would be given to again big emitters within India to start with, and again it would be like cap and trade mechanism, which is quite similar to the EU ETS or Korea ETS, and these two markets, EU ETS and Korea ETS, cumulatively is having the market size of around $1 trillion. So since India is the third largest emitter of the greenhouse gases, we are anticipating that Indian government, with the help of establishment of the CCTS, compliance carbon market, definitely would be able to achieve its net zero goal much earlier than whatever we have declared, that means year 2070. Second thing is the establishment of voluntary carbon market called as offset mechanism. These two markets within the joint committee of MOFCC, Ministry of Environment, Forestry and Climate Change, and second one is Ministry of Power. So these two ministries are working together to jointly implement under the administration of Bureau of Energy Efficiency within India. And the offset mechanism is for the non-obligated entities who do not have any target, like you like me or the companies who do not have any target, specifically coming from the service sector or the sectors which would not be the part of the obligated or the compliance carbon market, they can use offset mechanism to demonstrate their voluntary action to reduce or to help India's to meet its national determined contribution goals. So these are the two activities which are happening within India. Then third thing is the establishment of ecomark rules, wherein the retail buyers like you and me can get recognition of any product or services within India. It would be similar to the Energy Star labeling, wherein we can see any specific product, how much energy consumption is happening with the specific star label. And if we go for 5 star, then we would be able to save more energy. If we'll do go for 1 star, then we have to spend more energy, and that means more cost we have to bear during the operation or running of that equipment. So under the ecomark rule, over the products specifically to start with, over the products, we would be able to see how many grams or kg or tons of CO2 any specific product would be, or the environmental impact any specific product will do. Create once we'll do buy that specific product, and the cautious consumers like you and me can buy more eco-friendly products with the help of that eco-mark rule. Further, Indian government is working very heavily over the circular economy with the implementation of EPR rules, extended producer responsibility rules, wherein the obligated entities do have target to recycle plastic waste, tire waste, battery waste, and various different kind of waste. So that is again will to help India to meet its NDC goals. And as we know, we do have three major NDC goals. One is related to the renewable energy. Second one is emission intensity at the GDP level, and third one is the forest cover. So with the establishment of emission trading scheme or offset mechanism or ecomark rule, EPR rule, the other policies which are related to increasing of the forest cover, reduction of the GDP intensity, emission intensity, and third one is adding more and more renewable energy to decarbonize our power sector. So all these different activities, with these different activities, India is definitely positioned to meet its NDC goal way before the target year.
So you just mentioned about recycling. So is that related to the EPR also?
Yeah. So all recycling activities or circular economy related activities are being governed by the EPR rules in India, extended producer responsibility rules, wherein various different sectors are there, like e-waste, plastic waste, tire waste, recycled oil, or steel, which is being used within the automobiles. So, Government of India is working on other different mechanism. Also, I forgot to mention the another scheme which Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change had launched is the Green Credit Program. So under that green credit program, Indian government do have ambition to allow trading of ecosystem services. So like there are 8 different different green credits had been introduced under the notification. So to start with, one is the green tree-based green credits, tree-based green credits specifically, then water saving-based green credits, air quality-based green credits, sustainable agriculture, sustainable building. So there are different categories that had been formed by Government of India. And Indian government is looking forward to not only implement that green credit program within India, but Indian government do have ambition to expand this green credit program under the life campaign, lifestyle for environment, which our Prime Minister had declared during the last COP. During that, under that specific life campaign, government thinks that since governments do have target under the Paris Agreement, companies do have target under the compliance or the voluntary mechanisms, but how about the individuals like you and me? So the individuals can go and go over the UNFCCC website. they can visit, they can sign the pledge, whatever the recommendations that have been given by the government of India, various different posters, you would be able to see books, reading material, many things are there over that specific website, and we can improve our lifestyle to support environment and to support India to meet its NDC goals, along with the trading of ecosystem services. So these are all the activities which are happening, and Indian market is quite exciting, or the companies are quite exciting to adopt all these different activities, which are definitely will to reduce their emission reduction, their cost also at certain level, and plus support India to meet its goals and the climate goals.
That was very comprehensive recap of everything. Thank you for sharing your insights.
Yeah, thank you.
We hope you like this program. This program is also live streamed on All India Radio and aired on community radio stations. We look forward to your feedback on our WhatsApp number 9818120554. For participation in this program, write to us at sustainability.karma@gmail.com. You may also connect with us on social media. This podcast is also available on podcast hosting sites. Looking forward to meet you again at the same time next week with a new episode and a new guest. Till then, goodbye from all of us. Sustainability Karma, a podcast series on sustainable development, sustainability and ESG.